that entrepreneurship shit fake as hell. Like, man, you can make 3K in a week, and then for the next couple months, your ass might not make no but $100. That shit be fake, man. Shit be up and down. Shit too sporadic. Like, the only thing that's really secure for real, income wise is, man, is you going to pick up a trade and learning a real skill and getting in this career where you getting a guaranteed paycheck once or every 2 weeks, bro, and stacking your bread over time, and then having a side hustle and stacking that bread to the side, stacking it. That's the only for sure way to really have it going on. But like, don't believe what these folks talking about with these car rental businesses, these other little businesses. Like, that shit, all this shit got a lot of downside that people ain't talking about. A lot of expenses and costs up front. A lot of folks ain't gonna tell you that they did bank fraud to get that money, and now they invest in that bank fraud money that really ain't theirs into their businesses, which is good, which is cool though. I ain't mad about it. It's just motherfuckers just ain't gonna give you the whole stilo. Everybody just gonna give you some watered down information, have you in they rabbit hole, bro. I know how this shit go. This shit be fake as hell out here, bro. Don't believe none of y'all see on the internet, man. This shit be fake.
So there's a mixture of a lot of truth in there and a lot of just fear and falsehood, right? First of all, most businesses when they start up, they fail within 5 years. The IRS also almost expects that to happen. That's just a natural course of starting up a business. When it got popularized a couple years ago, by a couple of years ago, I mean almost a decade and a half ago, everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. You see it's in everyone's bio, and when you dig a little further, maybe it's not as traditional sense of what we think business is, but it's like maybe you have a lash studio, maybe you do here, maybe you're just a single, sort of employee. The point is we got obsessed with the term, but we didn't get obsessed with the reality of it, that it takes time, right? You're trading out, right? This was the idea. You're going to trade out the security of a 9 to 5 for the chance to be your own, your own boss, to set your own hours, to make as much money as you're willing to grind and expand your business into. But again, we're forgetting, or we never put out the truth that most businesses, as you look at them today, in the high rise in the middle of cities, those are multi-generational businesses. You are going to be essentially the founder of a multi-generational business if you want to have it in the traditional sense. But with this comes a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of people, most people, are not cut out to be entrepreneurs. And I know it sounds harsh, it sounds cold, but I say this because one, it's the way we grew up. It's the way we've sort of been programmed, the way we've been indoctrinated to be cogs in the machine. Now, there's going to be a small subset of that, as there always is, that rebuke that sort of thing and are always unhappy or want to find easier ways to make something happen. Some of these people are simply innovative. They see the world differently and they want to create products that change the world. And sometimes it's not a product, it's a service. You think Amazon, right? You think Microsoft. Microsoft's the product, Amazon's a service, right? They see the world as it is and say, well, we can, maybe congregate all these things into one area and then have this be a convenience. My father always said when we were talking about jobs, always, you could always bet on American vices. Americans are always going to eat. They're always going to need a place to stay, and they're always going to get sick. These are things that are continually an easy thing for you to become, an entrepreneur in. You provide that service, you get paid for this. These are things that constantly going to be needed. You can see the world differently and say, I can anticipate a need for this. I can invent something that will change the course of sort of humanity. This will be a household item. This will be a household service. You can do those. But I think where he's sort of mistaken, or where he and I disagree, it's not that it's fake. It's just hard. We've done a disservice in making it look easy. So when people see it, they simply think it's supposed to be. So it's one of my major gripes against, when I'm talking to people about real estate, and I just did maybe a couple days ago. Uh, my gripe with HGTV, it makes it look easy. It makes it look simple. That all you have to do is this, and boom. We stand to make $250,000 off this deal, off to the next one. No, in reality, and things we know things are truncated and cut down for TV. Same thing for social media. But let's play this one back. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. And I usually say that a little earlier, but I got off onto my high horse when we were talking about money. Let's play this one back and dissect it a little bit.
Man, that entrepreneurship shit fake as hell. Like, man, you can make 3K in a week, and then for the next couple months, your ass might not make nothing but $100.
That's the truth. Depending on what service you're providing, what the business is, with the business model, that's it. When you chase, especially when you chase trends, right? You provide the service because currently it's what people want. Well, that trend usually has runs its course and leaves. This is when because the bar to entrepreneurship is so low, it's so open that you can just decide this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do, and you have your LLC started up within a day. You just do that, and then boom, you're off to the races. But when you don't do enough research, you don't do enough, you know, deep diving or thinking or even getting a mentor in a certain space, you leave yourself open to sort of the whims of the people and the current trend of the day, of the week. Hopefully it's a 6 month trend and you can capitalize on that for quite a bit of time. But everything in that sort of regard has a window. If you catch it on its rise, great, you can make some money, and then you're kind of stuck. The truth is, what most people do, or what when you become an entrepreneur, most people, what they do is first they stack their money, right? Or they get investors. They have this radical idea, and that's been sort of, there's a proof of concept that people, you show different investors, right? You show different investors, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's a proof of concept. Here's why I think it can make millions. How this can be a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Or at least multi-millionaire company. Then you get angel investors to come and say, I'll give you the seed capital for X, Y, and Z. And then you off to the races. You're building out this product. You're hiring teams, such. That's how it works. When you do it sort of properly, when you follow the normal channels of building a business. But when you don't, it's just you, or you, like he said earlier, you take this bank, the scam money, these bank fraud money, and you invest that in a business. Wherever the capital comes from, I'm not condoning that you get, use fraud to start your business, but wherever the capital comes from, if you haven't actually have a proof of concept, if you don't have an actual business plan, an idea of how this is supposed to go, yeah, you just kind of regulate yourself to the point where things gonna typically just fail. It's normal. It's more normal to fail as an entrepreneur. Again, when you when we've pushed this to make it seem like it's a normal thing that just you can do, get off your butt, you're lazy, do this, and you could be out here making millions of dollars. Yeah, you can. Maybe in 15 years, maybe in 20 years. But there's going to be a long grind in that process to get you from an idea to an actual concept, to actually getting paid for that. This is just the normal course of business. But social media, to his credit, what he's saying, social media lies to you and makes it seem like you can just start this business tomorrow and the money will roll in. When you see people selling courses and telling you can do this, I was doing this at 16, I was doing this at 17. Maybe, right? But you have to take this thing with a grain of salt. You have to look at some markets, some things are completely oversaturated. But if you don't know these things, you don't know these things to do this type of research, you just jump in head, feet first, head first. And where you land is where you land. What I always recommend to people is don't quit your day job. If you have a job that you hate, but it's funneling money into your pockets, then use that money to funnel into your passion, right? We part of indoctrination, right? We tell people, do what you're passionate about. No, you got to do what pays you, and then you get to circle back. If you do it right, you get to circle back to do what you're passionate about. If you make that passion thing, that passion project, you can make that be the thing that pays your bills, then you've won. But traditionally, that's not really how it goes. We tell people, follow your dreams. Your dreams don't pay you, and then you're left in some sort of retail or entry level position, and you're miserable. We have to rethink, especially in the Black community, how we think about entrepreneurship, how we think about businesses, how we think about 9 to 5s. We often look down on 9 to 5s, and you see it come out in when people are talking about who they want to date. I need a guy that does this, that's business oriented. This, yeah, not all of us are that. Not all of us are that, right? And it has to be. We have to change the way we look at it. It has to be fine. It has to be a normal thing. Some of us, yeah, the security of a 9 to 5 is where we want to be. We just have to understand that in order for you to be rich, with a 9 to 5. It's going to be that type of rich that you're rich in retirement. That it took 20 years for you to build your wealth in the market. You started investing aggressively very early on and you were frugal. When it's time to retire, yeah, that's when you're rich. But when we want the rich now and we think that's tied to entrepreneurship, I'm going to buy this car, I'm going to put it in my LLC's name. What does that mean? Like, what does that really mean? Oh, I'm going to be able to write off X, Y, and Z. I implore you to look closer into that, into the tax law, and see what you can actually do, what you can't do. There's a lot of misinformation online, like he's saying, again, to his credit, to the reality of what is allowable by the United States tax code. Listen, if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, give those take a look. And if you like money talk, we like to do these from time to time. I've got a couple more lined up. Because we are kind of living in turbulent times money wise. But if you listen to Sound of My Voice right now, at the very end, you have subscribed. Let me know down why in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one.